Howdy, Blackman. I am Peyton Huff, and this is the BSPN Blackman Football post and pregame show. I hope y'all had a great weekend and are having a good start to y'all's week. Today we're going to be going over the Clarksville game and the pregame for Cane Ridge, and then afterwards we're going to interview Trey Thornton, who is a starting safety for Blackman. On Friday night, Blackman won 24-6 against Clarksville. Woohoo! Let's dive into analyzing this game and the overall just kind of how everybody played, and let's dive into it. So Blackman's offense scored 3 times. It was the offense that scored, and they also led a successful field goal drive. But I will say, at the beginning of the game, it was really rough. This new O-line was struggling. I hate to say that, but we had multiple snaps go over the head of the quarterback and snap infractions as well. The starting center, it is his first year at center. He has not played center before, and so it's understandable but also difficult to try to work through. And then throughout the game, there were very shaky performances, a lot of holding calls, and just overall not great performance from the O-line. But on the brighter side, Javion really showed off his running ability. He ran for 2 of the 3 touchdowns and then threw the other one to Bryson Mitchell. But he did have a fumble, and I will say, after watching the film, there were a lot of missed passes to open receivers or receivers that were downfield. But on a brighter note, he did have one insanely good throw on the outside to a open, not an open receiver. He was in fact very well covered, and it was just placed so perfectly. And I will say it was very nice watching that. The running backs, though, they did look nice. They overall just ran hard. There was a lot of times where it took multiple Clarksville players to bring these running backs down, and it was just really good. Micah and Jabari are looking to be a great 1-2 punch at running back. It is going to be fantastic. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball really quickly, because defense again performed really well. After allowing a 80-yard run to start the game, which resulted in a touchdown, but that was really the only momentum Clarksville had. Afterwards, Clarksville really did nothing. This was really good. The linebackers, again, as well, everybody kind of started a little rocky with the opening play. But after they settled in, they performed well. There were some missed tackles, and there were a little bit of time. There were some times where I saw there were some missed gaps that the defense didn't cover, but that was mostly during the beginning of the game. And as the defense settled in, they performed really well. I will say, so last time we did this, the pregame for Clarksville, I said these safeties were the group that I was most interested in seeing play, because I was like, they're probably not going to be as good as last year. But let me tell you guys, these safeties look amazing. Both of the safeties that were playing looked fantastic, and Trey Thornton got that interception at safety. He had the only interception and only pass breakup, and it just looked really good. The corners were steady. The flat defenders is the only thing I will harp on when it comes to this coverage. There was a lot of times where the Clarksville offense was able to get out into the flats, and their quarterback would just throw it over the flat defender. The other guy would get it and just get 10, 15 yards. So that is the one thing I will be looking for the defense to improve upon, is their flat coverage. D-line, of course, was dominant as always, creating chaos in the backfield, especially on passing plays. I believe the interception, there was a lot of defensive players in the backfield. The D-line was just stopping this run game. Most of the time, Clarksville just could not. Special teams as well, great. Tyler Bombrosen as the kicker. He had a field goal, and he made all PATs. He is a great kicker. And then as well, the special teams unit also came up with a punt block, which is really good to see. Special teams has always kind of been pretty good for Blackman, and it's good to see that they've continued in that way. So for these games, I'm going to hand out a defensive and offensive MVP, and then I'm going to hand out just an overall game MVP. So obviously on defense, I talked about him. Trey Thornton with the interception, with the pass breakup, and he was just as well being on run stop. I saw him multiple times getting down on the line of scrimmage and making tough tackles in the open field one-on-one. I was very impressed with his performance. I'm giving him the defensive MVP. And then on offense, I'm going to give the offensive MVP to Javion with his 3 total touchdowns. Obviously, it's pretty easy. He scored the touchdowns, but he clearly was the offense, and he played really well, and so I will give him that. Now, the overall MVP for this game, I talked about him. I've been talking about him a lot, but it's going to be Trey Thornton. Giving that to him, it was a little difficult because Javion had 3 touchdowns, but overall, Trey played a very crisp game. He was where he needed to be. He was at his assignments, and he made plays, and so I was very impressed with Trey with that. So I'm handing Trey Thornton the MVP for this Clarksville game. So here are the key takeaways. The offense can score, but we're still looking for that O-line to progress. They had some really explosive plays from Javion, especially in the run game. He was explosive, and when we were throwing the ball, it was explosive. But we needed to be a little more consistent as well. There was a lot of times where it was just, we would have spurts of big plays and scores, and then they would slow down, and they couldn't grind out that yardage because of the O-line, I would say. And look, I played with these guys at one point. They're all great people, so this is not me hating on these guys. They are all working their butts off, and this is just, I'm looking at it from a factual stance. The O-line needs to improve in order for this team to be as great as it can be. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, they did really, really well. They did, honestly, amazing, but they need some work on the pass coverage, especially in the flats. You cannot allow a team to have 5, 8, 10 yards on every passing play if they just go to that flat defender. You're not going to be able to create a good defense with that. And then a little bit more on the wrapping up side of things. I saw a lot of just missed tackles, arm tackles. So that is what we need to see. Now, let's move over to the Blackman versus Cane Ridge game. Obviously, Blackman is coming off of that 24-6 win against Clarksville, and Cane Ridge is coming off a 33-14 loss to ranked number 164th Wilson Central. So this Cane Ridge team, not looking too good. They're ranked number 118 in the state and 36 in the region. They went 2-10 last year, guys, or 2-8, I should say. High school only plays 10 games, but not looking great. Cane Ridge has not that much depth on the team. They don't have as many players, which means they can become gassed very easily, and you sometimes have bad backups or bad starters because you don't have as many players. Now, I wish I could give you a more in-depth look at Cane Ridge. Sadly, I do not have any film, or Max Preps doesn't have any stats for it, so I'm having a hard time finding anything on Cane Ridge. This is purely me looking at how they lost and what they're ranked. Obviously, their ranking system, they are not looked at as a high-value team. They are not looked at as a good team, but that does not mean that they're not going to be competitive. Blackman still has to be careful, even though the team maybe doesn't look good, or we just can't get surprised. This happened last year with Coffee County. We got surprised with a Coffee County team that was a lot more gritty and willing to just play good, even through the toughest conditions, and we have to be careful. And this Cane Ridge team could be looking to still impress in this game, so Blackman cannot get so far-sighted in this, oh, we got Riverdale in a week, we got Oakland coming up later in the season. Cannot get far-sighted in this. Now, let's talk about the Blackman side, because that is the stuff I do know. Blackman is looking to start off the season 2-0, which they have not been able to do in the past 2 years. So that should be really good. Stringing together these 2 games before playing Riverdale will really help Blackman feel confident when they play them. Blackman's offense, again, is coming off of a rocky game. So what we will be looking for in this team is for them to overcome those missed opportunities. There were a lot of times where I saw the Blackman offense miss an open receiver, have some pass protection breakdown that probably shouldn't have. If they can fix those mistakes, this offense can be really potent and dangerous. But they have to do that. And the quarterback play is a thing to watch. One of the things that was frustrating last year with this team was you had sparks of greatness where, you hit some big plays, and, that's what Javion was able to do in this Clarksville game, was hit those explosive plays. He had a couple go balls that were connected, some big runs. What we are looking for, though, is as well consistency. We need consistency. We need him to find the open receivers when they're there. We need him to not fumble the football. We need this O-line to get the running game going to where we're not having to rely upon Javion completely. Because when you have to rely upon a specific player, that's going to break down eventually. You can never rely wholly on one person on a football team. It is a team sport for a reason. There are 11 players on the field, and it takes all 11 to make a good team. So what you want to see is this offense come together and play as a whole. Obviously, they're not going to play perfect, and obviously it is my job to point out these flaws and also the how good these players can play. So that is what I'm going to do, but that is also what you want to see from these people, is for them to perform at a higher level. Again, like I said, biggest question mark is this O-line. It'll be interesting to see how they play throughout this game. Obviously, Cane Ridge supposedly is a lesser opponent, but any opponent is still a tough opponent as long as there are players on the field. Obviously, we want to see good performance from the O-line this game. Going on to the defense now, we want to see this defense start off hot and end hot, because of the fact that you just really had those opportunities to make this a shutout, but instead you allowed that 80-yard run. You allowed them to start off the game well. So you really want to see this defense start just as good as they end, and this team to be great throughout the entirety of the game. That was the thing I talked about when I was looking at this Clarksville game at the beginning of the season, was I wanted to see this defense be able to close out games. That's what they did this last game, and I was really proud of them for that. But they also need to start the games just as well as they end them. And so that is where I think we're really hoping to see this game, is for the defense to start strong and end strong, and throughout the entire game play well. I think the defense has got a decent bit of depth. Those linebackers look really good. And so I'm really hoping to see that from the defense for this game. And we'll see. Again, I don't know how good Cane Ridge is on their passing or running game, but I do know what happened at Clarksville, and I do know I want to see this Blaze defense perform well in the flats and wrap up. If they can get those tackles in the backfield, if they can get those tackles at the line of scrimmage, it can be really good for this defense and really make this season seem very plausible for the Blaze to have a good shot at playoffs. Obviously, again, the start off to the season is a little weaker, I feel like, than it has been in previous years. Obviously, you played Brentwood and Ravenwood last year, and then to play Clarksville and Cane Ridge, but I kind of like it. It gives the Blaze a chance to warm up before they get to this Riverdale game, which is happening the third week of the season. Obviously, this is a very good Blackman defense. I'm hoping to see them continue to improve. Also, I would like to compliment you guys as fans. You guys showed out to that Clarksville game, and I'm so happy and proud of y'all for that. We want that for every game. We want these people, we want y'all to be out there for every single game. This next game is going to be at the Inferno, so it's going to be a lot easier for y'all to get to it. The theme for it is Hawaiian. So if you have Hawaiian stuff on there, obviously, if you have Hawaiian stuff, wear it, show out for the team, be excited for this team, because it's looking like it's going to be a good team. The running backs and the receivers look fantastic. The quarterback play has been good. He's been explosive out there. The defense has looked good. This is going to be a good team. Obviously, we're going to get to this Trey Thornton interview, and so we will cut to that. Thank you, Trey, for coming on the show with me and answering some questions. Trey's a great guy. He works really hard. He's always out there on the field doing extra, and obviously it showed, because you had a fantastic game on Friday.
Thank you.
But there's always You can always do better. So what this week have you been looking to improve for this Cane Ridge game?
Just more flying around, more fitting, just trusting our teammates, trusting that our teammates are going to do what they need to do and that we need to do what we need to do. Just focusing on our job, our specific job, and trusting that our teammates are going to do their job and get the job done.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you watch film on Cane Ridge.
Yes, sir.
What would you say is their biggest strength?
Their run game was really good, but we stopped it. There was times where we needed to have a regroup, redo what we were doing, but once the game started going, we started catching on to it, and yeah, we started stopping it.
What are your goals for this season? Obviously, when you go into a season, you obviously have expectations for yourself. Do you have a goal on like how many interceptions you want to get? Where do you want this defense to be?
I feel like for personal goals, I would like multiple interceptions, about I would say over 5 plus, over 50 tackles, and a whole lot of turnovers. I know our defense should be really good. We have a lot of playmakers, a lot of big time playmakers on the field. We're gonna do what we need to do. Our defense is gonna be great this year. For our defense, a goal for our defense, I want it to be to not let up around 6 points a game. We should hold other teams' offense to a 6 point range, 6-7 point range.
You did that on purpose, didn't you? Yeah, that's still good though. Hey, only 1 touchdown per game. Honestly, that's a good expectation to have. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration for how you play? Is there like a player you look up to, maybe a family member that you just like? This is why I play. This is the inspiration I have.
There's a lot of players above me that I take inspiration from, such as Jalen Ramsey, Jalen Petrie, Jair Alexander, a lot of NFL DBs. I usually study their game, study how they play, and I see how that can contribute to my game and how I could better my game.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for coming on the show. Good luck to y'all tomorrow. I know you're going to play great, fly around the field and make some plays, dude.
Yes, sir.
Well, that does it for the show today. Tomorrow's game is, like I said, at the Inferno, so please, another big show out from y'all. This will be a fun and entertaining game. And I am Peyton. This is your BSPN football show, and I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. And go Blaze!